assessment discussion. So we spoke about A/B testing, right, guys? Till where did we cover in the previous session? We had a look at the editor also, na? Like how to design the website. In the last Okay, great, Penny. So let me I'm opening up your account again.
It's also going to expire in the next 2 days.
No worries. I know your account ID, so I'll get that ready. I am sharing my screen. Just to go over the topics what we covered in the last call. We had a look at the A/B test. We discussed the importance of A/B testing and where you need to utilize A/B testing. And now we'll also go over the A/B test creation process in detail. What are the new updates? How to create a test successfully? What are the steps involved? So you guys remember the first step was to initialize the URL of the pages where you would like to run the test. Okay. And URL options, you guys remember, guys, we discussed this in the first call itself. URL matches pattern. So do you know the difference between URL contains and starts with? Anyone? When should you use?
Yeah, so like if you're looking for a product or something, I think contains would make more sense there.
Okay.
And matches too, if it like matches the entire URL.
Okay, yeah, matches it's like a word-to-word match, I agree. Yeah, contains is like when it contains like a string in the URL. But if I use URL matches, okay, and if the visitors are coming to the site with query parameters, something that looks like this. Will we include these visitors as well within the test in scenarios where I use URL matches?
Yeah, I think so.
So by default, whenever people are coming to the site with UTM parameters or query parameters appended to their URL, by default, they'll become a part of the test because that's how URL, that's how VW is structured. By default, we are bound to include all the query parameters. So we don't exclude them from data tracking. So URLs you need to define. We also had a look at the Copilot, how you can use AI to target your pages. You can also upload your Excel or PDF list of URLs and we'll pick up the URLs from there. Pages are configured. In this step, we are going to open up the visual editor and we are going to start designing the variations. Let the editor load. So we went over the basic operations, right? Edit element, rearrange, copy, paste, hide, remove. You can also track clicks anywhere while you are on the editor. So guys, do you remember what was the difference between hide and remove? When can we use hide and when can we use remove? Anyone? If I hide this section, what will happen? And if I remove this section, what will happen? Why are these two different features? Have you guys, used this by any chance? Take a wild guess. What do you think will happen?
I guess hide removes it like for a temporary basis, whereas remove is for a permanent.
Okay, Piyush. Let's see. Let's try this out. If I hide it, you can see that it's hidden. Okay? I can undo it anytime. But if I choose to remove it, what do you think happened here? I have removed it entirely. Okay. I'm undoing it. Now when I hide it, can you see? What do you guys think is the difference right now between hide and remove? Can you see that space?
We're just testing. Yeah, we're just testing to see if we should keep these particular set of elements displayed on the screen, whether to hide it or to remove it completely. You understand?
Right. But Purva, right now when I click on hide, you see the space is still there. But when
Yeah.
I choose to like remove it, can you see the space also disappears?
Yes.
Because when you're removing it, you're removing the section altogether. But when you're hiding it, the visibility of the element is just made none. The space would still be there. Okay, that's like a difference between hide and remove. Because if I want to remove this, you see the space disappears, but if I choose to hide it, only the visibility is hidden. This element is still there. That's like a difference between hide and remove. Then you rearrange, you move and resize stuff, you can suggest variations which will give you alternate to the current text that you have. Now I can move things around, okay, and drag and drop items on the screen with the move and resize. But what do you guys think will be a disadvantage of move and resize? If you can read this warning here, it tells you that moving elements might break the responsiveness of the website. So ensure how it looks like on different devices before you make it live. So it might look good on desktop. Right now when I'm playing around, it might look fine on desktop. But VW is technically responsive, so the changes that I make on desktop might also be shown on mobile and tablet. So we need to switch between the devices, see how the changes look like, and then, decide if you want to go ahead with it or not. Can you see how bad it looks like on mobile? If I manually change the pixels, right, to something else, landscape portrait, it still doesn't look good. So what do you guys think could be a workaround in this case when, if let's say I'm a client and I'm asking you like, see, I want to run a test for desktop and mobile and I want to add a new section. This is a very common question that you might come across. And this section looks fine on desktop, but when I go to mobile, it breaks like how it is breaking for us right now. What can we suggest to the client? What would be your approach, guys? What would you tell such a client if he tells you that the website doesn't look good on desktop versus mobile? Anything that comes to your mind?
Maybe we can let them know that the CSS is getting affected, which is the exact problem.
Yeah, like if you're targeting the element, you're moving and resizing it, then the CSS is moved with that styling for the desktop is also going to be applied for the mobile, right? So it's breaking on mobile. So how can we fix this? Anything that comes to your mind through any VW feature? Can we avoid this? Would segmentation help? I'll give you a clue. Okay. What kind of segmentation can we use? Shall I run different tests for desktop and mobile? Would that solve this issue? I can create a test where I'm targeting only desktop, and I can clone that test and I can create changes separately for mobile. What do you think? That would be a good approach. We can run separate tests for desktop and mobile. So in this way, if we, run tests separately for desktop traffic and mobile traffic, this will avoid this issue. But if the client insists, see, I want to do the changes within the same test itself. I want to run one test for desktop and mobile, and I don't want the changes to break. And I have honestly come across a lot of them. If that is the case, if you go into the settings, applicability of modification, you guys can decide if the changes that you're making are common for all devices, which is like the default option, or you can toggle to specific to each device. Now, if I switch to specific to each device, the change that I make on desktop will only be shown to the desktop visitors. And I need to separately toggle to the mobile device. And then I'll have to create the changes within the mobile editor, which is only going to be shown to the mobile traffic. So you can go into the settings and decide if you want it to be common or specific to each device. Now, let's say on Purva's website, right, guys, I'm making this change on the navigation. And this change is made on the home page. But if I go to the products page, will I still see the different color of the navigation? What do you guys think? You guys can take a guess. What do you guys think? I'll toggle to the navigate and navigate. But when you're on the navigate, you're not going to see the changes you have created, guys. So if I go to a different page, like contact or products, would I still see the different color of the navigation, or should I have to create the change again in products and contact? Any idea, anyone? No? Okay, let's try it. Click on navigate. So we'll go to the product. So you again make a note of this. When you are on the navigate, you're not going to see the changes. Okay. So I will toggle to the design mode. Let's see if you're able to see the different color. Can you see the color change, right? So this is because for common elements like navigations, add to cart buttons, footers, the changes that you have made on one page will be reflected across all the pages if you are running a site-wide test, stuff like that. So I don't have to go to every page and create these changes all over again. So in the settings, there's another option that says, when you're making changes across multiple pages, do you want the changes to be common for all pages, like the change that I made to the navigation? Or do you want it to be specific to one page itself? Like the change that I made on the home page for the navigation, it should only show up on the home page. I can go to the other pages and create the changes separately. The default option is common for all pages. You can add new elements from the library. You have basic elements like contents, buttons, images, or we can add widgets. Widgets is available for enterprise plan. For pro plan, we offer like a basic version of the widgets. So let's say I quickly want to add a pop-up or a promotional banner. I can just add it and redesign it any way I want. In the widget settings, you can decide when to trigger the widget. Like I want this widget to only be shown to someone who's trying to close the page, or he or she is trying to, navigate elsewhere. You can customize it accordingly. Just a second, let me see it. You can redesign it, customize it according to your need. Just let this load and I'll show you the next feature. Right. So you can decide where to position it, top or bottom. You can trigger it. Like I only want this to be shown when someone's trying to close the page, they scroll more than 50%, spend more than 60 seconds. Or we can also show this to a visitor for a specific number of times. I only want a visitors to see this banner 5 times when they come back, or once per visitor, once per day per visitor. And when should this be dismissed? If someone clicks on the cross button, they're not going to see this again. So not just banners, there's a lot of interesting things that you can use from this section. Did we have a look about on the editor Copilot, this feature? I'm not sure if we spoke about this in the last one. No, right? Okay. So if there are some changes that you would like to do and you're not able to manually implement it, okay, so you can go into the editor Copilot and it will give you a couple of options. It's an AI feature, really cool. Clients find it super interesting. You can just type within the Copilot what you would want the AI to do. Alter the button shape, use a vibrant color. It has a couple of suggestions. You can also click on see what else you can do, right? Other than that, I can just type or just tell the Copilot what I want. I want to add a bouncy animation. This is usually what I show my clients, because adding an animation requires you to change the functionality. You need to add like a JavaScript snippet. You can't manually do it. So if I just tell the AI that this is what I want to do, it will generate a script and it will apply the changes for us. We don't even have to sit and manually code this out. You can see the CSS. You see it's bouncing up and down. There we go. Apart from that, I can just go to the AI and just tell anything I want the AI to do and it will do it for me. And there's an image Copilot. I don't know if we discussed this also in the last call, but nevertheless, whenever you have images on your website, you can just click on edit with Copilot and whatever changes you want to make to the image. Create a stadium background, highlight the players in the team uniform, team colors uniformly, something like this. You can just type it or just select it from the AI and it will give you an AI generated image and I can just directly use this. Let's see what it has to say right now. And these images are AI generated, okay? It's stored under the Apache license too. They are not on any search or platforms or anything as such. So there won't be any copyright issues also. So you can see. There we go. Pretty cool feature, right? And that's just it. Just click on edit with Copilot and you can keep generating more and more. I made changes to this button. If I want to figure out if this change is effective, I just click on track clicks. So there's going to be a metric set up to figure out the people that click on this button. I can add any number of metrics. So we have a suggested metrics, which is like a new feature. Again, it was recently launched. So corresponding to whatever metric you have set up, it will tell you additional things that we can also track. So we can track, clicks on this product details page from featured products. So I can just click on add and it will set up a metric for me. I don't even have to create it from scratch. So guys, we have created 6 changes in the variation 1. Traffic is equally distributed 50-50. Half of them will see the original version, rest of them will be redirected to the variation. If I want to change the traffic, I want it to be 70-30 or 80-20, no problem, I can customize this accordingly. But generally, if you're creating a new test, I personally recommend that 50-50 is the best practice. But again, it depends on the client what they want. And we have another feature, we call this multi-arm bandwidth. So this feature, what it will do is, it will dynamically give more traffic to the better performing variation. So if the variation is performing really well, then we'll slowly start scaling more traffic to that variation. So we have 3 different traffic distributions: equal, custom, your call, how you want to specify that, and multi-arm bandwidth. So the variations are created. Like I said, you can add and design any number of variations. Then metrics. So metrics are your visitors' actions or events that we are going to track with respect to the test. Only with the help of the metric, we know how the test is performing. So that's exactly what we are going to do. So I suppose you guys would have noticed that while we were trying to play around with the editor, we tried to track clicks on the Explore Now button. So it automatically set up a metric to figure out the people that click on that button that I selected within the editor. And I also added some more metric from the suggested metrics AI, that the options that the AI had to offer. I added some more metrics. So it also displays that here. Apart from this, if you want to manually create metrics, you can do it from here. Purva, I guess you have created a couple of metrics under the insights sign up report.
Yeah.
Now, right? Purva has set this up. So when I go back to my testing, right, this metrics will also be displayed here. Just a second. within the metrics dashboard. Purva's metrics are also displayed here that she has created within the insights. So that's why we transition from goals into metric reports in our new UI, because metric reports can just be easily reused before, right? Whatever you create in insights, you can't really use that in testing. I'll have to create it from scratch. Now I don't have to do all of that. I can just click, select it from the list and start using. Now, in the first session, whatever we discussed, guys, how to track page visit, clicks, form submissions, page unload, dead error, and rage clicks, we have this exact same events that you can use to track your visitors' actions even within your test. There's just one extra event that you will find within the testing, which is the bounce rate. This is not there for the insights. Bounce rate is only there for the testing metrics. So with respect to the bounce, you will be able to track how many people bounce off the URL. People that come to your website, they don't interact with anything. They close the page and bounce off that page. Bounce off the test URL. That's about it. It's just like the opposite of engagement. Now, apart from this, if you want to set up custom events, you can do it from the Data 360. You'll have to go to Data 360 and you'll have to create a new event from here, and that will show up, which I can use to track my own custom conditions. Guys, did we discuss how we can stream the GA4 goals into VW via Tag Manager? This is again very important use case. Like, most of the people that sign up for VW, they're already using GA4. Like I know that I spoke about this in the previous sessions. Now they don't want to create events and metrics from scratch. Let's say they are tracking something in GA. They want to track the exact same thing in VW, and they don't want to set it up again from scratch. They might be tracking 10 to 20 goals in GA4, right? Creating them in VW again is tedious. And if they're tracking something complex, setting it up in VW again is like a time-consuming process. So we have this way where I can stream all my event, GA4 goals into VW via GTM, Google Tag Manager. So it's setting it up as like a 3 to 4 step process. It's not that difficult. So the clients have to go into their GTM. This is how the GTM dashboard would look like. You can add your code within the tags and fire it via triggers. So over there, within the GTM, there's templates option where you can utilize custom templates. Within the templates, we have a VW event streamer template that the client should add within their Google Tag Manager, and they'll have to create a new tag and a trigger within their GTM. It's a very easy process. Once they save this, all their GTM events will be sent into VW as unregistered events. It will show up under Data 360 event section. You can see GTM checkout complete, cart abandoned, whatever you're tracking in GTM. I can just click on register, rename this, and directly start using this within my testing. When I click on create a new metric, my GTM events will show up under the my event section once I've registered that. And I can directly track the same thing here as well. Just bookmark this article, or you might come across this in future. People might ask you if VW is GTM friendly. Do we support importing events from GTM? And this one more really cool thing is before, right? This integrations and all was not supported for the insights. Now, since we have transitioned insights also from goals to metric reports, I can track this events, this GA4 goals, even within the insight section. Within the metric reports, I can find the events that I've imported from GTM, and I can track it within the insights also. And if you have imported that GTM event, I can set up a heat map also for people that have, let's say, completed the checkout. I want to only open up the recordings or heat maps of only those visitors. We can create a view accordingly. So you see everything goes hand in hand, and the advantages have increased. The flexibility has increased, right? We are able to easily migrate and move stuff from different tools into VW. Now, When you have multiple metrics within a single test, so I'm tracking a lot of things here: sign-ups, product link, people clicking on the product link, people going to the product page, people clicking on the explore now. So whenever you have multiple metrics linked to a test, you need to assign any one metric that's of great importance to you as the primary metric. You see, set as primary, because VW will declare the winner of the test only on the basis of the data that is collected from the primary metric. Rest of them are just secondary metrics. Okay. So let's config on. Audience and traffic. Who do you want to run the test for? Do you only want to run this test for desktop, or you only want to run it for mobile? New or returning visitors, people using, like, let's say, a certain OS. Or we have custom segments. This is pre-segmentation. You can decide who you want to target within the test. So there are a couple of more configurations, guys. Now within testing, we have integrations option. So I can send this test data to other third-party tools, and the clients can log into that third-party tools and slice and dice the data from them. Because you might be using a lot of other tools and you want to analyze the data in those tools, right? So if you click on click to browse, we have we have integrations with almost 63 apps available currently. I can just search for any app. Commonly used integration is GA4. GA4 integration is quite straightforward. I can just click on enable. VW will deduct the GA tag on the site and push the data into GA. I can also sign in with my official GA4 account. So I'm doing that for your account right now. So what will happen is it will start sending the test data into that specific GA account, and I can log into my account and search for the test name. I'll be able to see the data for that test within my GA4 dashboard. Because GA4 captures a lot of other, insights. There's page views, average time spent, a lot of things that we don't have on our dashboard. So we don't really have to see GA as a competitor. It goes hand in hand. So if a client wants to analyze the data in GA also for that specific test, they can easily integrate it and view the data there. Triggers. Audience and traffic is when you want to, who you want to include in the test. Trigger is when do you want the visitors to become a part of the test. So if someone tries to close the page, scrolls more than 50%, spends more than 60 seconds on the page, or we can create our own custom triggers where there's a list of events that you can use and decide when a visitor will become a part of the test. Scheduler. I can automatically make the test start and pause for a time frame. I can also stop the test once it reaches X visitors. Let's say a client has purchased like a quota of 500,000 visitors and they are scared. Like, let's say if I start the test and what if I run out of the quota in like first 3 months itself? So they can actually schedule the test. So every test that I run, I want like the test to automatically stop once it reaches 30,000 visitors. So we have smart stats configuration. We'll discuss this in reports 2.0. Right now, the testing approach that we use is sequential, right? Check results as they come in and stop early if there is a winner declared so that we can save the time and resources and the clients don't waste a lot of their quota on this. Whereas fixed horizon, you can see traditional approach where you wait until a certain duration to end and review the results. So sequential is what everyone prefers, mostly. And then this is an advanced feature. This is there in the enterprise plan only. Manual activation. If you have like a custom condition in place, like I want a visitor to become a part of the test only after they sign up on my website or only if they log into the site. So if you have some kind of restriction like this, right, you can add a manual activation trigger where if I click on enable campaign activation, it will give me like a snippet of code. If someone signs up for the website, I'll have to fire this code. Only then they will be included in this campaign. Now, one disadvantage is that if I'm planning to run multiple campaigns, right, I'll have to add this code for every campaign. You see how much work that is? So people don't prefer this, honestly. Instead, what you can do is you can create a custom trigger. It will be easier for you. You can just create an event for that specific condition. And if someone signs up, right, you add your custom condition here. And then you can reuse the sign up trigger for other campaigns also. You don't even have to keep creating events again and again, right? Mutually exclusive group. Very important, guys. This is like a question that you might come across and it's also asked in your LMS and assessments. If you are running tests on multiple pages, I mean, you're running multiple tests on pages. For example, I'm planning to run an A/B test today on this page where I'm changing the headline. I have also started a split test on the same page, and I'm also planning to run another multivariate campaign on this page. So if a visitor comes to this page, he or she will become a part of all the tests that you're running. So first time they come to your site, they might see a change from an A/B test. Next time they refresh the page and come back again, you might have started a split test and they might get redirected because of that. So it's not really ideal to make the visitor become a part of overlapping changes that you have created on the site. So what you can do is you can create a mutually exclusive group. So the test that you're running on those pages, you can add it within the mutually exclusive group. So this will ensure that the visitor will become a part of any one test and they do not become a part of all the tests at the same time. So this will avoid the issue of overlapping changes. So you can decide the visitor allocation if you want it to be random. So the visitors coming to the website, they will be allocated to any one of the tests randomly. There's no bias or priority or anything as such. But you can decide the priority if you want. So campaign 11 should have the highest priority. We should first check if they are eligible to become a part of this test. If not, they'll be, split between this. So you can assign the weightage for each. 61% and 19%. Accordingly, we'll assign visitors. Yes, Purva.
Once we assign the visitors to different tests, and suppose I'm assigned to campaign 1 test, and after how long can I be assigned to campaign 2? Am I shown a different test, or am I just assigned to a particular campaign test forever till I'm running the test?
So suppose, let's say you're assigned to campaign 11, right? So you will never become a part of these other 2 tests.
Okay.
As long as your cookie is there, because we've created, that's the whole point of the mutually exclusive group. The groups are going to be mutually exclusive. So the visitors that have been included in campaign 11 will not be included in campaign 2 or June 20th, this one. So each test will have its own independent group of visitors. Right? So that way we can just ensure the visitor who has become a part of one test, they don't see the changes on the other test also, because sometimes it can get too confusing if you're running multiple changes on multiple tests on one page. There's a test where changing the headline, there's another test you're again changing the headline and the navigation. It might get confusing for you. You might see a lot of changes in the UI, or when you refresh the page, something goes off, right? So it's just not recommended. That's why we have this.
So there's no cooling period basically for a visitor. Okay.
If you stop the test, it's fine. I mean, like if you've become a part of this test, right, you will not become a part of any 2 tests, even if you stop it, because the cookie is there in the browser. And as long as I clear the cookies and come back again, then there are chances that I might be, included in any one of these 2, as long as I'm not a part of the previous
one. Yeah. Okay.
Right. Some additional options, guys. Track visitors across multiple domains. So if I want to run a test where I track visitors across multiple domains, like people, I want to see people that come to VW, how many of them are going to Wingify, and I want to run tests across multiple domains and track visitors going to multiple domains in the same test itself. So there's this option that you need to check, track visitors across multiple domains. You know that Google has tried to block the third-party cookies, correct? So there are chances that for some browsers, it might not work. So we give them a warning beforehand. If you want to enable it, you will have to click here, but there is a warning that this might happen. The block third-party cookies prevents VWP from recognized who from B.com has come to A.com, right? Entirely, even though this is already interactive. So we have given like a workaround for that. You need to implement a JavaScript API on the website, including the query string parameter key and value. There's an additional, implementation that has to be done to make sure that your data is consistent if you're running tests across multiple domains, which is very rare. I've not noticed a lot of clients do that, but just in case. Notes and labels. If you want to add notes and labels to the test, you can. That's about it. That's most of the configurations that we have for a campaign. Once we started, we'll be able to see the data and the reports. Before that, I'll click on Review Campaign. In the Review tab, you'll see the configuration summary, the URLs, the triggers, metrics, and all of that. Then we have a debugger that is launched. So before I start the test, I want to debug if everything is in place. Okay, if all my elements are correct, the smart code is there. Is there any issue with any elements loading on the site and VW applying changes? Is there any CSV issue? So I can just add my website URL and click on debug. So it would take a while and it's debugging everything. While it does that, let's also look at the live preview once. In the live preview, you can see a green tick if everything is in place, URLs are correctly defined, changes are being properly applied on all the elements. You can switch between control and variation to see the changes. I can click on the element and I can see if the metric is also correctly triggered or not. I can click on the share icon. I can copy the preview link, or you can scan the QR code and I can share these changes with anybody. You don't even have to have VW access for this. Yeah. Can you guys try clicking on it? Are you able to see this change on your end, whatever I have created on your browsers? Is it visible, guys, on your side?
I don't see it.
You don't see it, Purva? Piyush, what about you?
I don't see changes as well. I mean, the link is shareable, but no changes.
Okay, let me just check it in my incognito. I'm able to see it, yeah. Can you guys try it in incognito, clear your cookies once? Penny, Aniket, are you guys able to see it?
No. I'm trying it incognito.
I'll just share the link again if you have shared it wrongly.
Yeah, I see it in incognito.
You see it in incognito? Okay, so this way what I can do is I can share the changes with different team members, open it up in different browsers, and only if it looks good, I start the test, because once I start it, I'll be able to see the data and the reports. And that's about it, guys. This is the entire test creation process, how to set up an A/B test end to end. You guys have any doubts or questions on any of these features? All good. Okay, I'll stop presenting. Let's discuss, revise everything for tomorrow's session. right? So let me stop the presentation. I'll open up my account. Yes, friend.
So I was going through some of the knowledge base articles that you had shared.
Yeah.
So if you can explain a little on custom dimensions.
Many custom dimensions are no longer available. It was only there for the old dashboard.
Okay,
So,
yeah, because I saw them and I was reading through and then I was trying to figure it out.
no, it's no longer there. It's outdated. You won't find it anymore. Like, just to let you know what those mean is, like, let's say I want to send some more segmentation. You know, we have this predefined segments based on
Yes.
location, yeah, uh, uh, traffic, device type, and all of that. Apart from that, if I want to send my own data, like gender-based targeting, or if I
Hmm.
want to segment users based on their age, like, you know, in websites we have 18 plus and all of that, right?
Yeah, demographic details and something
Correct.
like that.
Exactly. So you'll have to create custom dimensions for that. And the client, they'll get a code that they'll have to add on their website. If someone clicks on above 18, they'll have to fire that code. So using that custom dimension, we get more segments. You'll see that segments in the custom segment section. So that way I can do my own targeting.
So the existing custom segments is the same as previously mentioned custom dimensions.
The existing custom segments are the segments that we have. That has nothing to do with custom
Predefined.
dimensions. Apart from that, if you want to add new segments within our custom segments, right? Like you said, you want to, you know, add based on some demographics or based on age. That is not there currently. Then we'll have to create a custom dimension. The client has to do the implementation from their side and send us the data. So that way they'll see extra segments in their custom segments, which normally is not there for other accounts.
Okay, so little confused here.
No problem.
Now we no more have custom dimensions. We have
custom dimensions.
okay. And what we have in custom segments is something similar to what we used to have, but we have predefined certain fields. And if they want to add more, they can, which could be anything, be it age related or
Yeah.
any of that.
If you want to add new fields, right, then you
Hmm.
get a custom dimension for those fields, and then you pass it within that custom dimension, the data for those new fields. That is only where you use custom dimensions. Predefined fields, so it's there for both the old and the new dashboard. But these new fields that we are talking about, right, Fanny? In
Yes.
order to implement these fields, we create custom dimensions.
Okay. So if a customer wants to, they will reach out to us and then we'll enable that for them.
Custom dimension is not there. Instead of that, right now we have attributes in Data 360.
Okay, that way.
So they can create it from their side itself. They don't even have to reach out to us.
Okay. So if they want something similar, they can make use of. So if I want to explore that, like on the application, can I use custom segments for that?
Custom segments are there, Fanny. Of course, you can use that. If you want to create your own custom segments, whatever is
Yes.
not there, then you can create an attribute in Data 360. You will have it. And
Okay.
then you will be able to see. I'll show you once. I'm on Purva's account, okay?
Hmm.
So I think you will be able to understand it better this way. Can you see my screen? So normally reports mein na, if I go into the custom segments, we have this predefined segments based on traffic, location, device type, day of the week, visitor ID, UUIDs. Apart from that, okay, I want to target people based on age, gender, right? Then I can create my own custom segment. And before we had to create it in form of custom dimension. Now it's not there. Now what I can do is I can go to the attributes. So I want to filter out the reports based on male and female, how many people are male and female on my website. So I'll create an attribute called gender. Okay. So gender mein text, right? Gender is text. So ये वाला attribute I have created. There'll be a API that will be provided. The clients have to pass it on their end whenever someone fills up the form or comes to the website. They should deduct if they are a male or a female. And honestly, websites have their own way of doing it, and they'll have to fire the data within the script. So now this attribute that I have created, if I go into the custom segments, I'll find my new gender attribute. Can you see? And now I want to filter out everybody who's coming to my test as a male.
Understood.
Correct.
Okay, so just a use case, like kind of a hypothetical question. Let's say if a customer, so in certain geographies, there are requirements that let's say we do not want the minors to be tracked or something where we can have an age specification. So if there is this kind of a question that may come out from a customer, let's say GDPR, for EU, so we can ask them to make use of this through which they can know to restrict certain tracking to them.
Yeah, we can create an attribute like you said. We don't want people that are coming below 18 years of age to become a part of any of their tests that they are running. Maybe they are creating something that they don't want to show to certain group of audience, right? Of course, we can create a attribute for the same. And in the targeting configuration, they can exclude them from their tests or data tracking. That's completely
Okay. And it will do it for everybody who would be around. I mean,
satisfied with condition, correct?
Yes. But it doesn't end there. Like after that, if we do require, if the website does, if the customer does want to track them with consent, let's say whoever is visiting could be a parent or something. So even if we have excluded by default, or like through this, the customer is excluding or restricting them by default, a particular segment of people, then also we can, they can have,
consent, like
consent, yeah, specific for something like that. Is it something they can do it from their end?
Yeah, Prani, they can, but consent ka to for a specific, you're talking about consent given to a specific group of audience.
Yeah.
That feature was not there. Like, we spoke about the consent policy, right? That's overall for anyone coming to the site. But just for a specific group of people, if you have to trigger this consent, then I think that will be a tricky thing to do. As of now, it's not there, but yeah, maybe we can work on that in future. Right? It's a good use case. Yeah. Now that I think about it, we don't really have anything.
Because minors is there in all regulations, all geographies, irrespective.
Yeah, definitely. And maybe we need to come up with something, because we have all kinds of, clients coming from all kinds of, industries. So we should always be prepared for the same.
Yeah.
Right. Great. So,
any other KB articles you suggest we can go through before tomorrow?
yeah, Prani, I'll share Insights Self articles. I think I shared this with you guys.
Yes.
So this one, you can just have a look at it. Something we share with our clients also. Stop presenting. I'll just tell you guys what